Hi, buddy. Let's get you far from regret. There is a common Buddhist teaching that emphasizes the significance of being unmoved in any given situation. The concept is derived from the idea of being struck by an arrow. The first arrow represents a challenging situation, a setback, or more stress that we have to deal with. This arrow cannot be avoided, and difficult experiences are an unavoidable component of life. The second arrow represents how we respond to whatever is going on around us, and in this case, we have a choice. If we respond to adversity by blaming ourselves, being upset, or whining, we are, in effect, shooting ourselves in the foot a second time with an arrow. In this way, we not only have to deal with the initial pain but also the agony that results from our reaction. Before starting the video, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. Just recently, I was a witness to something that drove this point home for me. People are looking at each other in the airport. Because I live in Amsterdam, the airport that is most convenient for me to use is Schiphol. It is a wonderful airport that is roomy, bright, and breezy. There is an abundance of high-quality cafes and other places to sit. While enjoying a cup of hot chocolate, I always find it entertaining to people watch. Recently, when I was waiting at the gate for my trip, I had the opportunity to watch a fascinating example of a person who did not respond. The floor is being cleaned. It dawned on me that he must have swept this vast area of floor a number of times, and I concluded that this must be the case. It's highly likely that no one has ever taken the time to sincerely appreciate him for the caliber of his work. Even though his salary was presumably meager, he completed the task to the best of his ability out of respect for himself. He was not seeking any sort of recognition from the outside world. Watching him was both calming and saddening for me at the same time. He appeared to have such low expectations. I'll go first. The next people to take part in the competition were a couple who were hurrying towards an adjacent gate where a flight to the United States of America had just been called. Even though there wasn't much of a time crunch, it was clear that they were anxious about getting there on time. The sole focus of their attention was on reaching their gate as quickly as possible. They were oblivious to everything else around them. Do you think you can figure out what took place? They dashed right through the garbage heap that the cleaner had so diligently accumulated, strewing it all over a large region of the floor in the process. A split second later, the woman looked back over her previous actions. My expectation was that she would apologize to the cleaner, but instead, she sped up the pace and hurriedly followed her friend towards the location they were going to. There was a window of opportunity there for a brief act of compassion, but as is so frequently the case, it was missed because no one took advantage of it. Habitual patterns. After that, I realized why the man had the attitude that he didn't expect to be seen. I assumed that this was something that happened to him frequently. When you're put in a position where you're being forced to just put your own agenda in the spotlight, it's very simple to do so, isn't it? You may not even realize that others may have agendas of their own that require your attention. Even in this situation, there was an imbalance of power because the requirements of the consumer were prioritized over those of a simple cleaner who was trying to do his job. In our working lives, we could run into situations like these quite frequently. Perhaps we have interactions with a boss or a team leader who has the option of choosing whether or not to view our contribution as being as clear or as essential as their own, deciding not to respond or react. It is possible that the fact that the cleaner merely picked up the dirt and debris that had been spread and started his work practically as if there had been no interruption will not come as any kind of surprise to you at all. He did not show any signs of reaction. He could have yelled out or cursed under his breath. Either option was available to him. It would have been reasonable if he had looked around for a sympathetic eye. I admit, I was ready to supply one, but he did neither of those things. Instead, he ignored the situation entirely. The cleaner did not stop his work but instead kept on, keeping our levels of stress under control. It dawned on me that he probably dealt with situations with a similar lack of awareness on the part of other passengers using the airport around him as a normal part of his job. He didn't regard it as an annoying occurrence that he needed to store up and take home to tell his wife about. Instead, he just moved on with things and didn't dwell on it. Because he maintained that mentality, he was able to keep a handle on the amount of stress that he was experiencing. Imagine how fatigued and drained he would be at the end of each day if he had responded every time someone failed to see him working. He would be in a constant state of frustration. It drove home to me very clearly the need to maintain composure in the face of challenging circumstances. It is to everyone's advantage, including your own, that we do not shoot the second arrow, as this has a significant positive impact. Hans Sale was one of the pioneers in the field of research into the impact that stress has on the human body. In fact, some people refer to him as the grandfather of the study of stress. One of his most frequently cited points of view is that it is not stress itself that causes us to get ill, but rather how we respond to it. Shouldn't we give that some consideration the next time we find ourselves in a situation that we didn't choose or anticipate? Please do not forget to like, subscribe, comment, and press the bell icon to get far from regret.